everyone. Welcome back to episode 3 of Couple Goals.
Yes.
We're back.
We are back.
And we're ready.
That's what she said. I programmed a couple of things into the little thing that we use to record this.
I don't even think that makes sense.
It's okay.
I love you.
Wait. Maybe like that. Wait, say something. Just say like a random phrase.
I like trees.
That's what she said.
Little Dracula voice.
I love your Dracula voice.
That's what she said. Okay, let's move it along. I was just doing that to kill some time. I thought it'd be fun.
So we're so excited. November is here. So we've wrapped up October, and we had a lot of fun times, I think, in October.
October was fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's always very festive with Halloween.
Yes.
I mean, you put out a Halloween video where you decorated, a whole house.
I love Halloween. It's so much fun to decorate.
Yeah, and I feel like you had like other stuff too that you were filming. Like, what is your plan with that? I think people would be pretty stoked to see it.
So I do have quite a bit of things I did record, but I think I'm going to make shorts.
Nice.
But one of the things I did do was I ended up going to Disneyland for Halloween, and it was so packed. I thought for sure there was nobody was going to be there.
Dangerous. You know, because is everyone dressed up and like in costumes with helmets on and stuff?
Well, you can't wear a mask, but there were adults that were dressed up. I thought it was going to be a lot of adults, but it was actually a lot of kids that, with their parents.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I thought they'd be at home trick-or-treating, eating their candy. But maybe going to Disneyland is like the new thing people are doing.
They did it, I don't know if it's a new thing. Maybe they've been. Well, have you been to Disneyland before on Halloween? I mean, are you comparing it to a previous experience? Or?
I had never been to Disneyland for Halloween, so that's why I thought the whole time it wasn't going to be as busy, but I was wrong.
Is it typically, are you saying that just because of Halloween, or when you go, is it usually more adults? Because I don't go to Disneyland very often, I'm curious.
Well, no, I thought that there wasn't going to be very many people because it's Halloween. People normally stay home to give out candy. Kids walk around.
A lot of people were stealing candy this year. Did you see that?
I saw a ton of videos of that, yeah.
How disgusting.
Well, they're probably stealing from the people that are going to Disneyland, leaving the candy outside.
Maybe they were on their way to Disneyland, and the kids are like, wait, we're not going to go trick-or-treating. They're like, damn, we'll just go get some candy. And they just stole a bunch of it.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is stay home to hand out candy so people don't steal your candy.
So you went to Disneyland on Halloween, but there was like an underlying mission when you went to Disneyland, right?
So I grabbed some Disneyland Halloween treats because I wanted Jerid to test them out and see what he thought about it.
I don't feel like I got a fair play with that because you bought them on like a Thursday. And I feel like I didn't actually try them until the next Tuesday or so. It had to have at least been 4 or 5 days. And I kept asking you if I could try one, but it was very important that you film me doing it. So I really do hope that the footage at least comes out because I sacrificed looking at delicious treats for like almost a week for this video. It felt very official. It was like props, don't touch the props.
And every day he was like, so what can I actually eat? What can I not eat? It's like, you can't eat any of it. And then we did get like we'll insert the photo here, but the Oogie Boogie little like Rice Krispie treats. And that had kind of melted a little bit, the frosting.
Well, the frosting had melted and the Rice Krispies had become a little extra crispy.
Slightly stale. Stale.
Slightly is pretty generous.
Yeah. So we ended up getting the Evil Queen's apple, like a candy apple.
Nothing like an apple that's been sitting out for 5 days.
It wasn't 5 days.
It was 4 at least. But no. keep going.
So we got that, and then we got some cake pops.
They can go south really fast. Like they're either too gooey and ooey or they're overcooked. So I forget how the Disneyland one was, but I feel like it was good.
Well, you had there was a corn, what is it, candy corn cake pop.
That one was good. That felt like it was like 50% fondant though.
I think all of them tasted that way.
Yeah.
But that was like a white cake pop. And then the other one was just like a chocolate with Mickey ears. And that was chocolate.
Felt a little bit ambiguous. I didn't really understand what that had to do in Halloween necessarily, but it was good. I liked it.
I preferred the chocolate, which is unusual, but
very rich, but it was good.
Yeah. So, and then we did that. Well, I got really into baking this past month.
Oh yeah.
So I tried to make a skull cake because we were heading to Jerid's dad's family's house to do like a pumpkin carving night.
Carved, as they call it, actually.
Carved.
I don't know if they've trademarked it, if we could even say it, but carved.
Yes. So
Credit to them.
So we went to carved night, right?
Just carved. You have to put night after it.
So they set up this night to carve pumpkins, and we were supposed to bring the desserts.
So I pretty much signed you up for it because you were making all these snacks and treats for a Halloween video, and I thought you really enjoyed doing that. I'm sure you wouldn't mind doing it for carved.
It was a lot of fun, and I decided, again, to make the skull cake. I was going to make a pumpkin cake. I was like going to go all
Very
in.
ambitious.
Yes.
Very ambitious.
Of course, I made it the day of, so not a good idea.
Well, I mean, any real chef or baker wants it to be as fresh as possible, so I think it was really a service to them. You wanted it to be fresh for them.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So I had Jerid. He was so great. He went to the store.
Oh, yeah. And all of you guys know how fun it is to go to the store to buy stuff for the wife. You know what I mean? There always seems to be something that they need right as you get into the car and you're on your way back. So that didn't happen. But one funny thing that did happen when you sent me there.
Yeah. So I was like kind of in a hurry. We had slept in a little later than I had expected. And so...
Excuses. Jeez. Okay, how about this? You asked me to get you were making 3 cakes total. We've already confirmed that, right? The skull cake and the 2 pumpkin cakes.
Yes.
But you told me that one of the things you needed was 9 cups of olive oil. And I did the math and I equated that to 72 ounces. So like 240 ounces of olive oil. And when I was looking at it on the shelves, it hadn't even occurred to me. So like when you told me that, I thought that's logical. We might need 3 cups.
That makes sense.
But then when I looked at it and it's like a half-gallon jug of it to get that much, I thought, are we just going to be drinking this shit? Like, what's going on here? So I had to call you and ask you, like, hey, I'm looking at what 3. I think you're going to fill up the whole dishes with olive oil.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I thought is because it had asked for 1/3 cup of olive oil.
Well, that makes sense, though, because depending on how it's written out, it's like 3 cups.
Exactly. So
I gotcha.
And I was in a hurry, and so I thought, okay, well, I have 3 boxes of this cake mix. I need 9 cups.
It was pretty hilarious.
I'm actually very fortunate that Jerid thought about it and did not come home with like tons of oil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun.
But the skull cake, you weren't overly excited about how it turned out, I would say, right?
No.
Like, on the way there, you were actually trying to get me to say that I made it. You said, hey, can you just tell them that you made it? And I agreed to that as long as you were willing to take it in and make fun of it first.
Oh my god!
If you were willing to go in and say, oh my god, look at this fucking crazy looking cake that Jerid made, it's so goofy, then I would have said I made it because it would have been a fun all around joke.
Yes, again, and we're going to insert that photo because it is hideous.
Yeah, but that's Halloween and it was scary.
Well, yeah, so what I did was I actually ended up using buttercream frosting, and I think it was just too gooey, or it just was too soft.
Did you maybe put too much on, or do you think, did you use the right amount? Were you going off of like a measuring system?
All of the above, guys. I put way too much on.
Because I watched you make the pumpkin cake the night after that, and I feel like you were icing it up for about 30 minutes. But I will say though, in the defense of your technique, so unfortunately at carved, I think maybe all the excitement got to me. Yeah. There's theories that maybe I had a bad Claritin hit. Maybe I had too many hard-boiled eggs or something like that.
Who knows?
But I just had this random like attack of a heat stroke / gross, my stomach.
Like
I felt like I wanted to throw up.
Something?
Yeah, it was just weird. So we had to leave. So we didn't get to experience everybody enjoying the cake, but it was a hit.
Well, and I will say when I brought it in, I did admit right away that I'm the one that made it.
Oh, yeah. I think by then you had realized that the best thing to do is just be honest here.
When I realized Jerid wasn't going to let me just like throw it out and like buy a new cake or something, I was like, okay, we're going to walk in with this and I got to tell them the truth.
Yeah, but I actually went to my dad's house maybe like 4 days after that, and they were still enjoying it and said that was like everyone's favorite dessert at the event.
And they were really nice. They all said looked so cool. So
they were being honest. It was delicious. And even like the other cakes that you've made that have a lot of icing, they really taste good.
Well, what doesn't taste good with a ton of icing on it?
Well, I think it's like misleading how long you take to do it, because you're smearing it and just kind of like moving it around.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I don't think it all ends up on the cake.
Well, and I decided for some reason to put black icing inside of like the eyes and the mouth, and it was an adventure. And people always say like practice makes perfect, or practice makes you just better. But
that's what she said.
Keep going.
But it is really hard those first couple times when you try something out and it doesn't come out right. It's so like discouraging.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, to say that you're one of the first cakes that you're really making on this journey of being like a baker that's artistic, a realistic skull, that's ambitious. I mean, most people just to get the wording right on the cake is an achievement. And you're trying to do a whole themed cake, so it was
the
very
morning
good.
of.
It turned out great, and I don't think most people have seen what it would look like if there was a realistic skull on a cake.
Yeah.
And that was the closest they've probably seen, is what
You're
you did.
probably right.
So what were they comparing it to?
Exactly. And then I did do the pumpkin. I ended up just giving that to my sister so she could send it off to work with her the next day. So I'm excited. I think my new thing I'm doing is using the word yet. I'm not great yet, but I'm going to be there next year for sure.
There you go.
But with the theme of Halloween, I was really excited because I was able to help my cousin's daughter with her gender reveal. She wanted a Halloween theme, and this is her first child, so she didn't want anything too fancy, but I thought it would be fun to do like a smoking cauldron and with some like different variation of pink and blue mini pumpkins on the table as centerpieces.
Were they real pumpkins?
So they were real pumpkins.
Wait,
yes.
Is that like, are people going to get mad if
I don't
you
know.
painted a real pumpkin?
I don't know. I did kind of have a hard time with it once I was like spray painting them.
Does PETA identify a pumpkin as like a living organism?
No.
PETA might get after us.
No, but I mean, I can at least still reuse them. So
you could still, what do you do? Do people eat pumpkins? I mean, what do they do with them?
yeah, you can make like pumpkin pie, or you can make soups out of pumpkin.
And what part of the pumpkin though? I genuinely don't know.
So it's almost like a butternut squash the way we eat it. So we just peel it and then we just take out the seeds and we roast it.
You get it?
Yeah, you get it.
Okay, cool.
So that was a lot of fun. I'll insert some photos here.
But no, the cauldrons, you filled up, it looked like ornaments almost, like clear ornaments with a cotton.
Yeah.
And it looked like smoke in a bubble. And then you like glued them strategically around this large tub. And I thought those were like the coolest things I had seen. And then at one point, did you guys paint them or something? Or
Yeah, so we wanted to spray paint them like a baby is a brewing.
Creepy. The idea is a baby is in here? Spooky.
I think there's another phrase that you could use too, but we ended up splotching down some baby feet on there. So it was really cute.
It was very cool. Those cauldrons were definitely, I could see those being like a thing that people buy already made. You know, those were awesome.
And it was so nice because I had already had a good amount of stuff for Halloween. So I just brought like my Halloween tub and just kind of finished off the little decorations.
You're becoming that lady. You have a tub for like every holiday.
I just love it so much.
I like it. It kind of makes me think about, we have a box somewhere that has all kinds of decorations for every month, because one thing we were doing was we had a Christmas tree, not a real one because someone got allergies and I'm going to point elbows. For like February, for instance, we would decorate it with Valentine's Day stuff.
Yes.
So it's very cool. I like having little boxes and tubs for like the different seasons and holidays.
Yeah, we made like little paper hearts and kind of got crafty with it.
And then we did St. Patrick's Day for March.
Yes.
And then we had to actually evacuate our house.
It got cut short. The tree holiday got cut short.
Another episode we'll talk about that.
But a good amount of people I think do that. But it was fun.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
They decorate a Christmas tree all year?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure not a ton of people, but there's still a good amount of people that do it.
Where have you seen people do that? Like on Instagram?
On Pinterest.
See, I ain't in that Pinterest world. Okay, I'm ignorant to the DIY world. I'm learning. My apologies to all of you guys that knew that was obvious. Just like, not everybody knew about the 3-hour time difference.
I told you.
But maybe I just, it was just a fun thing. I wasn't serious.
But it was, I'm glad that we put it in there because there was a good amount of you that weren't sure.
This is an educational podcast more than anything.
But it was actually fun because we were on like the height of the whole gender reveal decoration, and we were driving to Jerid's dad's house one weekend, and we
were riding the high of that gender reveal.
We were riding the high.
We were stoked.
We had gender reveal in the brain,
high-fiving the whole drive over. It was great.
So we were driving to Jerid's dad's house, and we saw. Well, you actually saw them. I didn't see them.
No, you saw them first. And you said, gender reveal. Basically, 2 porta potties on the back of
like a trailer.
Like a truck, someone that rents out party gear, party like tents and stuff like that. And one was pink and one was blue. Mm-hmm. And I thought you were being serious. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know how they would use that necessarily in a gender reveal party. But then it sparked up an interesting conversation. Like, how would you use porta potties?
Well, Jerid was very much like, that would be a fun gender reveal.
So let's just paint a visual here. You have a pink porta potty and a blue porta potty. In the holding tanks of the porta potties, where usually the potty would go, you would fill it up with just confetti bombs of the color of the opposite porta potty. So the blue would be pink. And then if the baby is a girl, you blow up the male porta potty, the blue one, and then you just have pink confetti going everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the pink one is left standing, because you were saying you would blow up the one that it was the gender of.
Well, because I think it can be confusing if you blow up the, like, because usually with these gender...
I think having porta potties like that at a gender reveal party is going to be confusing from the
You're
rip.
going to just have people wanting to use them and actually think they're, like, functional porta potties.
Load up with all the fecal matter in there.
Oh, gosh, that's horrible.
That took a nasty turn.
Yeah, so
Yuck.
you tell us, would you guys use the porta potty method of doing a gender reveal?
No. How would you integrate two porta potties of the different colors into a gender reveal, I think?
Because normally in the gender reveal, like it's like smoke of what it is, like what gender it is, you know? You don't blow up the incorrect gender or what, you know. however you
Yes,
phrase
but
it.
it would be such an impressive large explosive that it would just disintegrate it, and it would just be a pink confetti bomb in front of a pink porta potty.
Well, and then can you imagine it's not even just the confetti bomb. You got like particles of like porta potty material.
It would be, I mean, people would be wondering, why are they making me wear safety goggles? You know, but hey, it's for your safety, obviously. There might be shrapnel, or hopefully not, but it could be other stuff flying at you.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you're going to get. And people are going to be cut up and like it's dangerous.
Or maybe you could do it like they did on Mythbusters, where they would blow up something in like a huge crater and they would look at it from above in a viewing station. And you would just, hey, look down at these porta potties, and then the one would blow up, and it would make a lot more sense if you did it in a crater and had a viewing station from above.
What would you do? What would your gender reveal idea be?
Yeah, let's reveal what we're talking about next. What's going on next? Let's segment reveal.
Well, I actually think a lot of people enjoyed doing the questions last time, so I thought I would.
Of course they do.
So a few weeks back, I asked on my Instagram for you to ask a few questions for Jerid and I thought we would go through some of them.
Have at it. Let's do it.
Okay, so one of them is what is your favorite movie/TV show right now?
Right now, for me, something that we just watched is Modern Family. We've rewatched it quite a bit of times, as well as like The Office is one that we rewatched several times. But
is there any show that you like just watching by yourself?
I don't really watch shows per se.
You do like 90 Day Fiancé.
I do like 90 Day Fiancé. I've been let down with the last few seasons. 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way was one that I was enjoying because of a few couples, but they got dull. There was Last Resort, a new thing where it was like couples therapy. That fell flat with me. So I have been getting let down to the point where I'm not as excited as I once was about 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah.
What's your favorite rendition of the 90 Day Fiancé franchise?
I like to watch by myself is Outlander. You've watched a few episodes with me.
I appreciate that you watch that by yourself. I'm not really into like the fantasy world stuff.
Yeah, and then but we will watch like goofy shows like what is it? Love is Blind, things like that.
Love is Blind is good. I like that one.
Yeah.
And then I think recently, like just a few things that we've watched that I could think of is that Wind River. That was pretty good.
That was a good movie.
And then before that, there was one other movie that we watched just on like a recommendation tip.
We watched that Jennifer Lawrence movie.
That's what it was.
No Hard Feelings, I believe.
That was a weird one to me. And then Jennifer Lawrence got completely naked in it. I don't think she's been naked in a movie before, and I would imagine that's a big thing for an actress to like be naked in a movie.
She actually did say that she wanted to have that confidence because she had just had a kid and she wanted to feel like just confident in herself to be able to do that. So you know what? Good for you, Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm sure thousands of young men watched that movie that probably wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was just very random to me that she got naked in it. But I do remember thinking, I'll never watch that again.
Yeah, I probably won't watch that again. But it wasn't a bad movie.
So you recommend it?
I wouldn't rewatch it again, but I don't think it was a waste of my time.
I don't think it was a waste of time, but I do think there's other things you could easily do with your time that might be better. You know, rewatch like your other favorite movie.
Oh my gosh. So another question somebody asked was, how do you date someone who doesn't have the same hobbies or interests but has the same goals?
You just introduce each other to new things that you could be into potentially. There's nothing wrong with having your own hobbies and stuff, but I think if you have the same goal, that's like half the battle right away.
Yeah.
You know, I think finding things that you could find common ground between the hobbies, or maybe you could introduce the hobbies to each other in a way where it's intriguing to the other person, I think that you're good.
I agree. And I actually read somewhere, they're like really famous. They're called like Gottman therapy. And they stated that
Gotham therapy?
it's not
like
Gotham.
Batman?
It's like Gottman or something along the lines. If you know, you know. Okay. If not, Google it. But
That's what she said.
so he said that in a relationship, you don't have to have necessarily the same hobbies or the same interest, but you have to have the same values, and you have to be okay with your partner exploring their hobbies and their interests and being open to theirs as well as they're open to yours. Because I feel like we don't have necessarily a ton of hobbies in common, but we do enjoy doing things for the first time, like together and things like that. What do you think?
No, I agree, and I think what you said was pretty much spot on. But even the stuff that you enjoy doing that I might not necessarily like as much, I just enjoy being around you, and I like watching you be in your element. So I think if you love the person enough, it doesn't matter if you like the activity that you're doing. It's a matter of being around someone being that happy that you care about. Like, that's the goal. You know, do people, I mean, we don't have kids, but do they really like coloring or watching some of these shows? I think a lot of it is just being around this child and watching them and experience the world and be so stoked on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's kind of like that. I think if you love them enough and you share goals, you're good.
I think that's a great idea. And I think, like you said, if you love them somebody enough, you'll be open to what they're into because it makes them happy.
Yes. As long as it's eating mayonnaise. You know what I mean?
What, do you think people are just sitting around eating mayonnaise?
Because they love each other. All right. I just don't like mayonnaise. I'm allergic.
He's not allergic to the mayonnaise.
They make me sick. What does that mean? If they make me sick, it's pretty much I'm allergic.
I'm pretty sure I've made you things with mayonnaise and told you it was something else and you loved it.
Only if it's like maybe a little tiny bit, because I like what makes up mayonnaise, you know, oil and eggs. It's just the taste together is gross to me. But just a quick story. One time we went and ate sushi and we got a baked like scallion roll or something of that nature. And it was just coated with mayonnaise, and I wasn't aware of this. And we were walking out of the restaurant, and it's in a little shopping center that's an L shaped, and you have the sushi spot, and then you walk around this bend, and then there's a grocery store. So along the wall of the grocery store, there's like a flower bed. And then you said, "I can't believe you ate that so well." And I thought, well, why? You're like, well, because it was like covered in mayonnaise. And I just threw up all over this flower bed and just let it all out. If you're telling me like maybe I had a late allergic reaction to it, but that's almost worse than being allergic to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't agree. I just think it's a behavior thing.
And mustard. Ugh.
But yeah, he eats deviled eggs all the time. So, you know.
Wait, what's in deviled eggs?
Which has mayonnaise and mustard in it.
Well, see, just like I do like eggs and oil individually, I don't like mayonnaise or mustard, but when you mix them and put an egg in it, I love it.
I still don't think you're allergic.
Well, just talking about it is making me nauseous. So what is the next question?
So the next question actually falls in line in what we're talking about is what is one thing that we both disagree on?
About mayonnaise? That falls in line with mayonnaise?
No, I think one thing that we normally have a discussion about or a disagreement on is the closet. I always tell Jerid that I think that people who love clothes or have a large amount of clothes is they try a bunch of clothes on, and whatever they decide they don't want to wear, they just kind of place it on a chair or in an area in their closet.
Most of the time, I feel like they're flung onto a chair.
Well, it depends.
And just piled on each other.
Well, it depends if you're in a hurry.
What is something else that you love that you just fling onto a chair and pile on top of each other?
I mean,
I don't think this is an act of love. I think this is an act of you got clothes, you don't want to hang them back up because leave in the comments. I'm sure 50% at least of you guys listening or watching this have a chair in the room that's covered in clothes. I've seen it at most houses that I've been into.
I think it is more women, but I think it's really anyone who has a lot of clothes or feeling maybe undecisive in the morning. They're just not sure and they just kind of place them somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, in the closet. Don't you look for the clothes in the closet?
So as you see, it's something that we disagree on.
So wait, let's actually get a stance. What is the matter at hand here? That a chair with clothes on it is a good thing? That it just means that you love clothes?
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Okay, so you think it's a good thing. And then I think it's just kind of sloppy.
Exactly.
And your justification of it is that it's because you love clothes and because you have to try on multiple things and that's where they end up.
Well, because sometimes you just don't know what you want to wear in the morning. Not everybody chooses their outfits, the day before. That maybe is something good to do, but that doesn't always happen.
So there's never dirty clothes on the chair. From what you're saying, that the chair would never have dirty clothes because it's only used when you're looking at clothes that have been right off the hanger.
Listen. What happens is that you place the clothes on the chair, and then it's laundry day, and you think, you know what? I never hung this up. I'm just going to wash it and hang it up once it's clean. It's not necessarily dirty.
So you paint pumpkins. You do extra laundry that doesn't need to be done. Come on. You drive an SUV? Come on here.
I know. I'm horrible.
Oh my gosh, we're going to get canceled for this.
I know. And we're only 3 episodes in.
Risky.
I know.
Okay, I think we've gotten into deep enough waters with this question. What is the next one?
So the next question is, what is our favorite memory with each other?
One of my favorite memories that just came to me when you said it is, this is before we had our dogs, I believe.
Okay.
Or no, actually, I think we had Harper. We just had Harper at this time.
Oh, yes.
And maybe your sister's friend or somebody had a little French bulldog that needed to be babysat for a couple of days named Bruno. We said, of course, we'll do it. We had never really seen our dog interact with another dog any long term beyond a couple minutes. So we wanted to see how she'd be with another dog. And the first night that he was there with us, we ended up going to was it McDonald's, I believe? Maybe Wendy's. I don't know. It don't really even matter at this point. But I had a cup full of soda in the car already, and I wanted to get rid of it because we needed the 2 open cup holders. So my thought was, I'll just kind of fling it out the window, whatever this liquid is, and it'll be good, So damn, now we're talking about littering. This is a very
oh my God,
controversial episode. Well, so it was water. It was water.
Yeah, we didn't technically throw away the cup.
I mean, we're condoning blowing up porta potties full of confetti. I mean, we're not really making a bunch of eco friends here, I think. But regardless, it's all in fun. But yes, so I think it was water. It was actually water that was enriched with nutrients for grass. So I wanted to throw out this nutrient-enriched water out the window. And Sandy was sitting in the passenger seat with Bruno on her lap. And unfortunately, it didn't fling as much as I accidentally threw the cup. And it hit the top of the window instead of going through it. And just exploded all over you and Bruno.
Yeah.
And I thought in that second, okay, well, that's bad. I think she's probably going to be pretty pissed off about that. And I was kind of nervous about your reaction. But then you just busted up laughing. We were just cracking up the whole time we were in the drive-thru. And it was just one of those, I don't know, it's a fun moment. It's just I just love those moments with you that we just laugh at life's uncomfortable moments. And I don't know, I think if you could find someone that you could do that with, that's a pretty rad thing.
I agree. And I think
well, no, you can't have the same memory. You have to have a different memory.
I will agree that there's too many to pick from, just one in particular. But one that I do always think about that makes me smile is that during Halloween, speaking about Halloween time, is that Jerid and I used to go to Hollywood. But we would drive around in Hollywood and we would call ourselves paparazzis.
Oh, paparazzi, yes.
Yes.
We were very opportunistic.
Yes. For those of you who have not been to LA around Halloween time, it's crazy packed.
Yeah, and just a little insight. One thing that we would do aside from Halloween is, as an activity, we would drive down to the Hollywood and to the LA area. And if we saw a cop activity, we called it a copportunity. And we would just kind of voyeur around the scene and just kind of a real life cops, if you will, right?
Exactly. Yeah. We were.
that even sounds kind of weird. We would stalk police officers.
We just wanted to be in the action, or not in the action, but just next to the action so we could see what was happening.
Yeah, and Halloween was the Grammys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this was the night for paparazzi.
It was huge, and they were just everywhere. And so I think to me it was fun. Just half of the time we wouldn't even see what was going on. It was just the chase of it. And, just the suspense of everything was fun.
Just the adventure.
Yeah. And so I know we would always usually drive around Hollywood, but I think those times were probably my favorite.
We just like to observe, We're people watching types. Remember when you thought you saw Drake? She thought she saw Drake one time. And we followed respectfully. We didn't like speed up or nothing like that. But we ended up, being behind this person for at least 5 minutes. And then it was like some dude that looked nothing like Drake.
I think he looked kind of like Drake. I mean, had similarities, like maybe skin color and like haircut. And probably that's it.
Or I think another time there's a place called the Chateau Marmont that's like very infamous. I think celebrities like have lived there for months on end even.
Yeah.
And it's like the spot. There's always paparazzi there, even if there's no celebrities going. And one night there was some kind of an event going on in Hollywood. So we parked our car like across the street, walked over to the Chateau Marmont, and just talked to this paparazzi guy for like 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. And he had like a folder. Do you remember his folder of like all of his like photos that he had taken? And he was giving us like the DL about like, who's cool and who's like really mean. And
yeah, I think he actually was on like Jimmy Kimmel, or he was on one of these late night shows as their like local paparazzi guy.
Yeah.
So you could ask him about anybody. Like, hey, Robert De Niro. Oh, Bob's a nice guy. Last time I saw him on Thursday or whatever. But
yeah,
it was just, I don't know, like finding ourselves in those just random scenarios and those adventures are just always a good time and good memories.
And it is actually funny because there was somebody who had asked like, date ideas that, when you don't necessarily have a ton of money or you're
Chase
on like
cops.
A budget. I think it is, not necessarily chasing cops, but I think just like finding things like outside to do, that make you both laugh.
Okay, before we get arrested, we're getting very risky in this episode at this point. Let's have one more quick question, I would say, and then maybe some story time. So what's the question?
So this question was for you.
Oh, okay.
How does it feel to have the coolest wife ever?
Amazing. It feels great. It makes me feel good about myself because I attracted the most amazing woman ever. So I got to thank my parents. I got to thank God. I got to thank everybody I got to thank Ernie. Thanks, Ernie, for having a Pippin' Ho party at your house. And thank you for knowing the guy that you knew. But no, I just feel blessed. I feel great.
Perfect.
How does it feel to be married to me?
Just amazing. Amazing.
So you're not going to add on all the bonuses and all the cherries and sprinkles I added.
Well, you wanted
amazing.
a quick answer. I honestly, and I told you just the other day that I just feel so lucky that you just get me on all levels, and it's just an undescribable feeling of how blessed I feel.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Oh my gosh, do a quick Dracula voice.
I feel so lucky to be with you. It is like every day I have an unlimited amount of blood and cake with just frosting dripping off of it. Scary skulls and pumpkins.
One of my favorite things that he does.
Oh, stop. Okay, how about let's go into story time. Was that all, or is there one more question that's pressing us?
That's
okay,
it. That's all.
perfect.
So next time we'll do another round of questions.
Very cool, very cool. And maybe before then too, maybe leave in the comments if you guys have any questions that you haven't heard us answer yet, which means you might have to go watch all three of them over again, just to make sure. But yeah, so ask us some questions in the comments as well.
Yes. So last time we talked about where we started off with the long distance. I thought it'd be fun to talk about when you first went to Georgia and all the fun things that we did.
Yeah, so the first time I went to Georgia, it was a month after we had talked about you stalking me, coming to California for a baptism, and then going to my show. And then obviously I wanted more. I realized that I just met the most amazing woman in the world, or however that person asked the question, right? And so I was looking at stuff that was happening in Atlanta within the next month or so that I could just like book a trip for and then see if you wanted to go. And while you were here, we both bonded on enjoying Sky Zoo's music. And I think even before that, I had like shared it with you through Facebook or text or whatever. And I saw that Sky Zoo, shout out to Sky Zoo, by the way, but he had a show at some kind of like little festival called AC3 or something like that, I believe, in Atlanta. Exactly 1 month from when I was looking at it. So I think I just texted you and said, hey, would you be like down to go see Sky Zoo? He's playing in Atlanta in a month. And well, just real quick, do you remember getting that text, or like how you felt about me just kind of throwing out to you that I was going to go to Atlanta?
You guys, I was so shocked. My plane hadn't even taken off, and he was like,
I forgot I did it that quick. I did do it that quick.
Yes,
huh?
yes. And
I think I dropped you off at the airport, and I thought I need a reason to go to Atlanta.
I was like, this guy's obsessed. He's obsessed.
So I guess in this episode, I become the stalker. You were the stalker last time. Now I'm the stalker. So that's what you thought. You thought I'm obsessed? You didn't have any like feelings of excitement?
I mean, I was excited, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were very excited. And so you said yes. You said you would be down to go.
Yeah.
So I booked the tickets. I bought the flight. And then I went off to Georgia. And it was kind of cool because I had never been to Georgia at all, at that time, let alone Atlanta, which I've heard so many things about. That night, we went to the concert. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think, you got us like a nice hotel for the night. We were going to stay in Atlanta for a few days, I believe. So that was very generous of you. I appreciated that. And then we went to the show, had a really fun time. We got like some shirts, some CDs, some memorabilia, some mementos of the night. And then we spent, how long did we spend? Did we stay in Atlanta for a few days?
We actually only stayed for one day. I think you're thinking about when we went back to drop you off.
Oh, next episode.
So then we ended up going to where I was living at the time, which was about 3 hours from Atlanta. So
super far, which made me very much appreciate. Because, like, if she came to LAX, let's say, from where I was living, which is where most people fly into Southern California, it's like a 30, 40-minute drive, and that kind of feels long, especially depending on what freeway you have to take. But when I took that drive back from Atlanta to where we were staying at, where she was staying at the time, I was like, wow, that's like dedication. And it was an early flight, I believe, one of these flights.
Yeah.
So I was very, very appreciative of the effort you made. And I don't know many people that would drive that far to pick someone up to hang out.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, stop. All right. So then we went back and it was cool because I had seen like maybe a picture or so of the house that you were living in, but I never actually like saw it. So that was the first time seeing it. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's where you are when we're having all these conversations. And then when I went in the house and like saw the living room with the couch, I thought, wow, that's where you're at probably when like I'm reading some of these things to you. And it was almost like seeing a celebrity, your house was like a celebrity to me because I knew everything about it and I had seen it, or I hadn't seen it, but I like visualized it. And then getting there was just a very cool experience.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to show him too about like where I lived because it was so small. And I do remember when we went to Walmart and it was so hot. And they were
hot is one way of putting it. Humid, like it's so humid that you take a shower and you're just wet all day. It's disgusting.
And so it was so funny because at Walmart, which was really the only store there, they were selling boiling
Which
peanuts.
is kind of sad. Was there stores there before? Did Walmart knock everything out, or did Walmart start there?
They had stores, but that was like the main like superstore. Because we had like a Piggly Wigglies.
We're promoting a conglomerate that's taking businesses out. What a controversial episode. I'm just kidding.
They had other stores, but that was like the main one. But
well, duh. It's Walmart.
Super Center too. Don't mess with the super centers. So they were selling boiling peanuts. And I remember Jerid's reaction was like, how are they selling boiling peanuts? And it's so hot.
Yeah, I felt like a boiling peanut in that weather. It was disgusting.
And so then we also ended up going to the fair.
Yes,
and
I remember that. And my like favorite memories of the fair is I like playing carnival games. I know I'm getting ripped off, but who cares, right? I'm in for the excitement. And there was one particular where I was able to win this large stuffed teddy bear that was wearing a silk jacket that just had money signs all over it. And I had to win that for us. So I remember getting that. And then we called it Fitty. Because it looked like 50 Cent kind of like, 50 Cent's all about the money and this big bear.
He had like the jacket.
Yeah. He had like a 50 type jacket. And I think we still have it if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. If we don't have it, then we definitely still have the jacket because I think you were able to like take it off.
Yeah, I think 50 may have experienced some like mildewing. Maybe he got wet or something. But yeah, we still have at minimum remnants of 50.
Yeah.
And then another thing that we did is we tried like every single deep fried snack that they had, which consisted of like the Oreos,
the Snickers, I think.
Snickers, Twinkies, pretty much anything. I mean, I think at that point, because they knew we were down to buy anything, they probably just added whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want a French fry? Like, we'll deep fry that. Like, what do you got? It's a weird thing to have at an event that also has rides that could spin very fast, to have all these deep fried meals. And I think it was even like, that was the year when like deep fried soda was a thing.
Really? I've never even heard of that.
No, I remember we got it, and I don't know what I think it's a matter of just mixing the soda in with some dough and they deep fry it.
That's disgusting. I thought,
how the hell do you deep fry soda? But I think we tried that too.
That's gross. And another thing we actually did get at the fair was MJ.
MJ.
Uh-oh, he's forgotten.
Oh, no. MJ. Is it a bird?
It's a fish.
Oh, it's a fish. MJ. I totally forgot about MJ. Damn,
Yeah.
I feel horrible. Now I look like a bad guy who forgets about pets.
And a fish nonetheless, now that you're obsessed with fish.
God, that, you know what? That's probably why I'm making it up for MJ, because I felt so bad, because I'm sure he passed, right? MJ's gone.
Long gone.
How long did MJ last?
I think he did last at least 2 months or so.
Now that I know what I know about fish, I either want to go to every carnival that's offering goldfish to kids, and if I had enough, to give them a proper setup for it, or I just want to get them all for myself and put them in the big tank that we have. I feel like so bad for the conditions that people put him in, because what did you put it in, like a bowl?
I'm pretty sure I left him in the actual container that it comes in.
Well, okay.
No wonder he only lasted 2 or 3 months.
That's like living in a huge toilet that you're just constantly pooping and peeing in. So how about this? I want to do something good, because I feel like there's been a couple moments that could be taken as bad, but don't support goldfish at carnivals. If we're going to get one thing across here that I feel passionate about, like for real, only get the goldfish from the carnivals if you can offer an adequate environment for it to live healthy after that.
Yes, we definitely don't mess around when it comes to fish in this household.
Yeah, and talking about fish in the optimal environment, one of the things we also did in Atlanta was go to an aquarium, or I think the biggest aquarium in the United States.
I believe so, and it was so much fun. We got to see my favorite beluga whales, and then
baby belugas.
yes, and I think that was the first time you ever touched a stingray.
Yeah, it was. I don't think many people. How many people out of 100, if you were to ask, would say yes, I pet a stingray before?
I would say about 40%.
That seems pretty accurate. I would say less. I would say 30 to 35%. I think I'm going to put a post on my Instagram and ask people. I want to get a representation here, but I'm curious.
Yes, I think 40% sounds good, but 30 to 35 sounds pretty close to 40.
We're talking about a minute difference, but it's all the difference at the same time. You know what I mean?
So I know we have more memories of Georgia that I'm sure we'll bring up another time, but I feel like that kind of wraps up our episode.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed the story time. I think really that's what the story time is. We're going to share memories that we have that, we have some pictures of that can accompany the stories. And I'm very excited for that segment. I'm very excited to go through some of our older photos and be able to relive those memories and to be able to share them with you guys.
Yeah. And it's kind of also a little travel recommendation, because I would definitely recommend the aquarium at Atlanta. It was a lot of fun.
I would definitely recommend going to Atlanta. I had an amazing time. And just one last memory, and I don't think we're going to have pictures for this, unfortunately, after I just told you that's the whole point of it. But Atlanta Underground. It's like this underground mall. And if I'm not mistaken, because there was people there handing out demos of their music, I am 90% positive that we got a demo from Travis Scott, or at least were offered a demo by Travis Scott. I think that was the time where he was very early in his career, and Atlanta Underground is known for people that have blown up because of all the people going through that area, and it's just easier. It's a numbers game, so you might be handing your CDs off to people that are a little bit more important than your average street goer.
Yes.
So I think we actually got an early demo of Travis Scott when we went there.
I can't believe that.
I told the story. I could just remember telling my buddy, the one that actually took me to the airport, shout out to Joe, when he picked me up, I said, yeah, dude, I got a CD or something. This dude, Travis, I remember Travis Scott coming up.
I do remember getting a CD.
So I think it was him. Why not? Let's just make that part of the story.
I can't believe it. We got the Travis Scott first EP.
Yeah, and then actually, here's a photo of me with Travis Scott that I photoshopped. But no, that's just a random memory. But I guess if this is also a TripAdvisor type thing, I would highly recommend going to Atlanta Underground. And if you do so, because the talent that comes out of that city is tremendous, especially in the music scene. So if you see people handing out demos, definitely take them and hold on to them. Because if I would have done so, I could have had a super rare Travis Scott CD right now.
Exactly.
I mean, the dude made his own chicken nugget sauce.
I will say Atlanta is such a great city, and it's so fun and so many things to do.
It's very cool. And this isn't even sponsored by Atlanta. We're just talking about it because we like it. But yeah, I think, is that it? Are we pretty much good with the episode? I feel like it was awesome. I had a great time.
I had an amazing time. I loved just talking about all our memories and just the fun events that we've been doing.
Yeah, and then where did we land? Are we keeping the chair?
We're definitely keeping the closet chair.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Well, Well, you guys make sure to check out Jerid's podcast, ABM Podcast.
Shameless plug. Dang, that was smooth. I like that.
It goes up daily, fine print.
Almost daily.
And then please check out our Instagrams where you'll get information. We'll ask questions that will probably show up on this podcast. And that's all in the description.
And ring the notification bell.
Such as...
Ding dong.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.